little bit of mandarin here that I'm finishing eating. So this video is, last week Bailey contacted me and said she had a box of 80s, 90s Barbies that she wasn't doing anything with and she knew she wouldn't do anything with. She knows they're not really my style of dolls, but I might still find something in there that appeals to me, and I'll probably be more likely to find other people to pass the dolls on to than she would, so I agreed to take the box, and this is it. I have not even peeked inside yet. The main tape is missing from the top center because it came off in the process of removing Bailey's return address label from the box. So let me eat this last bit of mandarin and then cut the rest of the tape open and we'll see what's inside. Oh, there's more than just Barbies in here. Should have expected that, but of course I did not. Bailey does gel press stuff. Her Instagram is like Bailey North 18, and you can see the gel press stuff she does. Some other odds and ends. Hope you can find homes for them. So, and in the bag with the gel press is. I feel like I should know who this is, but I don't offhand because the Generation Girls, I don't know, once we got about a few years into Generation Girl, I just stopped paying attention. I can't tell if this paint has been edited because I'm looking over my glasses without looking through the magnification. I think maybe this eye has been repainted a little bit. But anyway, it's the Generation Girl sculpt with lovely pink hair, which is probably really obvious what doll it is if you know what it is. I don't offhand, but I'm sure I'll figure it out. Alright, so that's cool. This might be fabric. Bailey has an assortment of fabric that she's held on to for decades, and she shares some with you. Oh, this is doll clothes. Right, hold on. Dolls of the World Barbie Happy Meal box, which could have some fun craft possibilities. Let me move. I had thought I'd be sewing doll clothes today, so I put some little cutout bits on the table here, and they're in the way right now. I don't want to get them too scrambled up. Oh, speaking of the Jewel Secrets doll, yeah, this is from the Jewel Secrets dolls. I had that Jewel Secrets skipper recently. I have had a Jewel Secrets Whitney bag set aside. This might not have been Jewel Secrets, this might have been a later line of Barbie that had the pouch dress gimmick, because the Jewel Secrets Whitney bag is not made like this. Anyway, I've had that bag set aside in my doll cloth for years because there's nothing like this 1980s tricot coated with a tinted metallic for capturing your 1980s look. And then this is the pleated version of that weird stuff that's so Barbie. So yes, this might get made into other things, as you probably expected. Let's see, you can see the desktop veil. See, this looks like something from a Hong Kong clone type doll, which just looks cool. This almost looks, no say, this almost looks homemade, but no, made in China. So this is probably actually made in Hong Kong just after Hong Kong got returned to China. That's some old clone doll clothes. Is that in the frame? Yeah. Some old clone doll clothes really do look like handmade stuff. This I'd say is handmade because of the Velcro. Tropical Barbie stuff. I had a few of the tropical dolls when I was young. Ooh. Sleeping Mickey Mouse leotard. Bodysuit. My mom was an aerobics instructor. We called them leotards and that back in the 80s. And I know it's just constructed this way because it was cheaper, but now when I see doll stuff constructed like this, I think, oh, wings will fit around through there. But that'll be fun. Was this Maxie's? This looks familiar, like it's not pure clone doll stuff. It's definitely not Barbie. I think it might have been a Hasbro Maxie. I'm honestly just excited about this plastic bag as any of the other stuff because I can always use plastic bags to store small things. Let's see, this also screams non-Barbie. There's just a certain quality of construction in Mattel stuff so that sometimes you can tell just from the way something is made, whether it's Mattel or not. I feel like I should recognize this too. Like I said, from the early 2000s until just a few years ago, I sort of lost a lot of Barbie time. This might have belonged to the Great Shaped Dolls, I can't remember. Okay, I thought there was some sort of notification on my camera. It's just this strip of surface here looks like a black bar. See, that looks like fake kente cloths, and this might have been off of Kenya or Imani or something like that. Hair scrunchie type thing. The child likes to wear those on his wrist. This might have been genuine Barbie. Those the not really that big but bigger than the Barbie chest we have now, chest of 80s dolls, can make their shirts look really weirdly scaled once you get used to modern dolls. And I wore so many barrettes like this when I was little that whenever I see them now, they just go right into my own box of barrettes to wear currently. Sorry, I didn't know I would be leading you memory by memory through a box full of doll clothes. Headband from an old Hong Kong clone type of doll. It's like this nicer, heavier tricot like this means that this probably was Barbie. The non-Barbie dolls had a cheaper tricot. And this isn't tricot, but this is also one of those thinner kinds of synthetic knits that the clone dolls would often use. Yeah, there's a made in China tag on there, I believe. Yeah. And as a kid, my experiences with this kind of knit was pretty much, if you put it on a doll once or twice, it would get a run in it. But that didn't stop me from using it. More of that fun cloth that no one knows the name of. Like I said, there's some on eBay right now, sort of sold as Mermaid Barbie Shimmer, and the seller says, I don't know what this is called, I'm sorry. So I believe these are boot covers, or spats that you would put over a pair of Barbie heels to make it look like she's wearing boots. Another clone type swimsuit. Again, this material used is what makes it clone type. And like I say, I appreciate the clone stuff a lot more now than I did as a kid. This also feels like this might not have been meant for a Barbie-sized doll. This might have been for more of a baby doll. But it's definitely not Mattel. Which again, I appreciate that a lot. I had this set. This was a Barbie sort of picnic themed outfit sold separately set. That I actually like those a lot in Home Alone. My nose is dripping. I mean, that's what you expect from these videos, right? That I try to identify everything I see. And definitely Mattel, but I didn't recognize it. Basket. Well, this is adorable. I'm trying to figure out how it was supposed to have... Maybe it wasn't supposed to fasten. Looks like it's had a little color bleeding from the red. This, I think if this gets pressed, it will hang nicely. And I believe this is from the second Barbie and the Rockers with the dancing action. They had fringe of various kinds. Staple of my childhood, the clone doll see-through underwear, but this one has the elastic absolutely shot. Okay, not completely shot, but that just means it will probably fit on Kirby now. I think I already have 2 of these. These are Barbie. I think they were actually sold as part of a ballet outfit set, not as a swimsuit, but I use these a lot under the lace shirts I make, so I appreciate having another one. Some Barbie foods. I don't know if this would be worth painting more realistically or just continuing to enjoy everything in... I was going to say Pepto-Bismol pink, but it's a little darker, and then I was going to say Baker Miller pink, but that's a little more obscure, and this is also a little dark. But it's not a Barbie pink either. Another staple of my childhood from those Sandy or Totsie accessory sets you would get for super cheap. But nothing actually worked with Barbie. Some socks. I almost recognize what this is from, but I might be imagining things. Not Barbie, it's like a larger doll than Barbie. Yeah, I had stuff like this when I was a kid. Spin Master, okay, so this was Live, I guess. And yes, those sleeves are supposed to have that texture. Okay. I'm actually not that familiar with Live stuff either. Oh yeah, I remember when this set of Barbies and Fashion Soul separately were available. They came with the fabric glue and the jewels, the acrylic jewels, and you're supposed to decorate it yourself. I had the car just because it looked like a Mazda Miata, but I never decorated it. Because for a while I was collecting Barbie cars. Okay, this I'd say is also from a clone doll. It's not homemade because it's always been really hard to find a brushed tree coat like this for home sewing in the US, but I'm pretty sure it's not Barbie either. It's probably a bathrobe, but it could be a fun coat just because it's a little thick. Alright, here's what I was talking about when I said that the... Let's see, where's that Barbie tree coat thing? that the tricot from a genuine Barbie fashion. And they used tricot a ton in the late 80s. And they used it a little in the early 80s and the 70s, but they really, by the late 80s and the 90s, before Fashion Avenue came out, they used it a lot. So this is the Barbie tricot. It's a little coarse, but not too bad. And this is the clone doll knockoff, not Barbie tricot. I don't know if it's picking up in here, focusing even. It's at the same time coarser and looser than the actual Barbie tricot. I really didn't like the tricot. It was around when I was like in high school and early college and learning about fabric and getting kind of critical of stuff, but now I understand. Okay, this is also absolutely not real Barbie, but it's hilarious. And Mattel probably did use this like this at some point, but for the most part they didn't. Not that Mattel's quality was great in the old days either. Ish. But it was better than this. Oh, a cup to go with those plates and hair to go with what cat hair. Nice pair of red tights. Again, the elastic is worn out, but it might fit curvy. Definitely not actually Barbie brand, and probably not even for Barbie scale either. Maybe try this on that leggy custom I did. Hybrid. Also not actually Barbie, but a little nicer than the not actually Barbie stuff you usually see. I'm guessing not actually Barbie. If only because I think Barbie would at least have used pink thread throughout. Oh, and here's a skirt to go with it. Yeah. I don't think that's Barbie. Pretty sure this is actual Mattel. I think this was a skipper jacket. There's no label in it, but I noticed as a kid that a lot of times if the outfit was on a doll sold in the package, then there wouldn't be a label in it. I kind of babbled about this recently in another video, which who knows when that will go up compared to this. How sometimes Barbie stuff on the back was weird because it didn't have either shoulder or side seam. So this doesn't have a side seam, it just has a shoulder seam. So just the whole virtue of cutting it with the side means the back's going to be at an angle. But they use that to their advantage here to make an interesting style point. So, oh no, this is Barbie. There were largely in the 90s, like you could buy this sets of Barbie clothes. They're like outfit gift packs, and there'd be like 5, 10, or even 15 sometimes different outfits in there, and those didn't always have great quality. So I'm not sure if that's where this came from, but this would probably look really fun on a doll, especially if there's something over to hide this picked part in the front. Another off-brand, not Barbie thing, but better made than a lot. Okay, yeah, this is probably real Barbie brand. You think? Maybe? I just don't know. Oh, my fingers are still orange from the orange, sorry. I don't know if this is actually supposed to be a big oversized shirt on Barbie or if this is like for a teddy bear kind of thing. This I think would be big on Ken. You know, I'll put it on a doll eventually and find out. This might have been from the Lights and Lace Barbie. This might have been... Either this had a skirt cut off of it, or this went with... This might have gone with a separate skirt. I think this was this from that Barbie from the early 90s with the costume theme? I think all the outfits sold separately could be converted into different costumes. I don't know. But this will be fun to put on a modern doll if I can without completely shredding these very delicate sleeves. This is from the Caboodles Barbie. I know that. And like I said, it's funny how big these old style body Barbie shirts, tops look when they're not. I actually have another pair of these. These are from a Skipper outfit sold separately. I feel like I should recognize this, but offhand I don't. It has shoulder pads. Okay, I know this is real Barbie. Well, actually, if it's not real Barbie, then it was cribbing off of Barbie, because I had a Barbie dress in the 90s that I loved, made out of this print. This Velcro. Well, early 90s Velcro could have been that rough. Just needs a little stitching together. Alright, this also looks familiar. And does have a Barbie logo in it, so this might have been an outfit sold separately. And I appreciate the pink and stars. I mean, this says Barbie on it, yes, but I can almost remember, I think this was not an outfit sold separately, I think this was an actual Barbie's outfit. I'm not going to look it up right now. Oh, pants to go with that. And I'm tempted to try to put these on a can. Okay, we all know what this is. I feel like I should recognize this. And the Barbie and the Rocker shirt. I once sat down and tried to figure out what the, like I said before, sometimes shirts will have no side seams or no shoulder seams. This one managed to have kind of no side seams and no shoulder seams, but the underarm seam goes into this seam at the back waist, and then they added this extension for this collar. So I sat down once and tried to figure out what this pattern would look like. This is my second one of these shirts now. I don't think I'm going to take one apart, but someday I might experiment with seeing if I could make something like that, just for the joke of it. I personally, don't like those shortcuts in sewing patterns. Alright, this I believe is a mod era Barbie dress. Yes, it has the actual Barbie Mattel. This will be nice if I can get it reshaped. Yeah, I think this was a Ken's jacket. This is supremely 80s. Don't think it's Barbie, because Mattel didn't use this fabric a lot because it did have the danger of doing that. Also, Mattel really didn't use fake buttons that often. Sometimes they did. last thing in here is I'm pretty sure this is homemade, if only because of the pure wild assortment of fasteners on the back. So I can't tell if the darts are pulling out a little. If I can't save this, then I can still take the skirt apart and send something new from it. I don't know how I'd be able to save it. Okay, so let me put those back in here. I didn't realize I would be having fun stuff like a pile of clothes to go through in this box. So already this video's gonna be longer than I expected, but that's why you're here, to hear me giving you random tidbits of doll information while you do whatever it is you need to do. Down here. And now here's another bag of like smaller dolls and things. Oh boy, one of the little Briar Horse Rider dolls, the smaller versions. These are fun to put just really, I've put very non-human heads on these bodies. The articulation isn't great, but it's still nice to have a body that small with articulation at all. Here's a larger Briar Horse Rider body, which is basically a knockoff of the old Mego bodies. No, this one isn't. This one is built more like that. Okay, so this is not a larger Briar body. It's the same body as that. It's just because it's more elaborately dressed. I was parsing it as larger, but it's not. And some Kellys, Shellys, Chelseas, whatever Mattel calls them now. This might have been the first one with the magnet in her hand and a bottle mouth. Clothes for them. I do have some other tiny dolls. Oh, this was the clown. I bought the clown in the 90s just because I wanted her shoes, I believe. I do have some dolls that are small enough to wear Kelly Chelsea size things. Just a little bit of some hats, bodysuit, dress, just needs some threads trimmed. Shorts and skirt. I don't have the patience to sew things this small. So having some mass-produced things this small will be nice whenever I get back to the dolls that are that size. Oh, there's Briar's hat. Let's see. Christmas ornament. Shoes for tiny Kelly dolls. Oh, there's some Stacy size shoes in here too. Those would be useful. Some of the vintage Likas actually wear Kelly-sized shoes. And then the glasses, which may or may not fit 60cm dolls. I'll find out. So yeah, most of this though, I'm not a huge fan of Kelly, so I'll be finding someone else who wants to adopt these eventually. But I can use the bodies on those. I'm just grabbing a bag. Oh, there's a Harry Potter head on the candy body. Okay. Oh, these are fun. You can carefully use a magic eraser to remove the airbrushed skin tone paint on the sword. Try not to hold up so high. On the knees and elbows, or knees and shoulders of these, and then you end up with just a clear, sparkly body. I don't know if this one still works, probably not. It would light up to some extent. I mean, it's a cute enough doll too, but these bodies can be fun. Okay. Don't recognize this one offhand. I'm not sure what she's supposed to do, but she has a plunger on her back and a hole in her hand. Feels like it might puff out some air. Anyway, but I know there are people who are fans of the, I call it Generation Girl Sculpt, they call it the CEO Sculpt. So that can probably find someone else. I have to tell myself not to just steal the legs off of all of these bodies that are half articulated. Sometimes you can bend the legs up and carefully lever them off, and then they will pop off and leave the stem inside intact. And then if you have a body that has articulated arms, well, a belly button body with articulated arms but straight legs, you can pop those legs off. And then I have to wrap everything in washcloth so that I don't damage it from the hammer, and hold it in place and then hammer the legs back on. But you can make an articulated doll out of two half-articulated dolls, and then one unarticulated doll that will then go on to somebody else. Were there Disney dolls who were horsey people? And then the last thing here is beaver. Roughly articulated beaver. I assume all these pop boys look the same to me. I've been planning to do a doll destash myself anyway, so a lot of these will go onto there. And generally the way I do it is I say, you know, $5 plus shipping for however much you want, because that $5 will help cover fees and such. Is this a Mattel? Yeah, this is a Mattel. I don't know which Jasmine had the purple. I think I remember this dress from the 80s. Oh, and I just did some stuff with another Skipper with this face. This is Tropical Skipper from like 1985. One of the 4 dolls who used this head sculpt. And so 2 of them were on the old standard Barbie body, and 2 of them were on the Super Teen body with tiltable heads. So I can do more with this, or I can find a home for her. I don't want to be greedy and keep all the interesting dolls for myself, but you know, it's tempting. And a very tan, some form of the 1987 Skipper sculpt. That was her original outfit. Was this camping Skipper? Oh, her nose is a little roughed up on the end, which could just inspire customizing. I'm going to not run off and try to look up what doll that is. Okay, this is the cut and style Barbie. When I thought I was just going to collect dolls mint in box, I had all of these dolls because in the box, in the original outfits, they all look so cool. I know her hair can be saved. The gimmick on these dolls was that you would buy hair that you could stick on the back to Velcro in, so you can keep cutting and cutting and cutting it. But the end result is, like 30 years later, we just know she has an undercut. So this hair can be saved, she can be cleaned up. Somebody will have a lot of fun with this as a project doll. Was this totally hair Ken? His pants let you know they're Ken. No, I think this was, oh, is this what that, no, it's a different fabric. I didn't think that was Mattel. Anyway, I don't have any examples of this Ken. I'm not sure if I ever had. I think there were only 2 Kens made with this head, where instead of the original Ken was just a cut joint, where the head went on the body and it was flat. And then there were Kens made with the more Barbie traditional style neck, where the top of the neck was curved and the head went down over this. This one, for whatever reason, the curve of the neck went down into the body. And they didn't do that too often, because it's a really weird setup. So this is basically a version of the 1983 Ken sculpt with hair, which there are subtle differences between the 1983 Ken sculpt and like the 1976 Superstar Ken sculpt. Not my favorite Ken sculpt. It's interesting to see this in person. And I know there are people who collect Ken. So he may find a new home, he may not. My favorites, PJ. I will probably keep this doll and rehabilitate her. Yeah, her hair. I can't tell if her hair is rooted all the way. This one has weird hair. I might have had this doll. I've had so many PJs, and I've had so many PJs as an adult that they do kind of blur together. But this hair can definitely be saved, although I probably will remove her. The PJs with purple hairs are a huge formative experience, or influence on me as a kid. A nice generic Superstar Barbie. I know there are people who like those. We'll get this into your hands eventually. A Kidcore doll from Walmart, which were cuter. They should be Tiffy repainted. I gave a new face up to one of these. That was really cute. I think I passed one on to Truffs too, who saw potential in it. Cheerleader Skipper. This is another doll that I had in box, just because I thought the presentation looks so cool. I also had the black version, which that's the only one of those dolls in box that I really regret not having anymore, because the black versions of the 1987 Skipper head are so hard to get now. But that's cool, I can play around with that cheerleading dress. Alright, this is another PJ. Yeah, but a little bit of cut hair in the middle. I think this is the one who originally had several different pairs of sunglasses with her and a shiny silver checkered swimsuit. Barbiest Barbie in the box. This is obviously her original dress because her earrings match it so well. Although I'd say someone's been at this hem with scissors. Another fun project doll for somebody. Okay, this is, what were they called? It was a line of dolls made by Mattel in the early 90s. I saw them in like Kmart. They were not Barbie, they were not sold as Barbie, they were not in any way associated with being sold as Barbie. They were barely marked as Mattel. and they were a low-priced line of dolls. I've forgotten what they're called. I run across mentions of them every once in a while. But that's who this is. I mean, you can tell this is absolutely Mattel doll, even before you flip over and see where it says Mattel on the back. Let's see, 1990. But it's obviously not Barbie. I always wondered what Mattel, what the idea was. This one has had some haircut. What the idea was, why Mattel decided they needed a low-priced line of dolls who used the Barbie body and could wear Barbie clothes. I mean, obviously use the Barbie body, they could wear Barbie clothes. And all that stuff, but wasn't actually Barbie or branded as Barbie. There was a little sister doll too. And I want to look that up, but I'm not even sure what terms I'd use. Now, I will see if I can get it figured out, and if I have figured out by the time I edit this video, it will have been at the bottom of the screen by now, I'm sure. I never bought the dolls in the early 90s when they were around. I think I might have been tempted by the Skipper size doll. I don't think I ever bought it though. Definitely didn't buy this bigger Barbie size one. I don't know if like they thought they would going to rebrand Barbie completely. Give me a look at her profile. And it just didn't work out, and since they made the molds, they went ahead and I don't know, I have no idea what the story is behind this doll. Maybe in the course of trying to find out what it was called, I'll find that, but probably not. So yes, that is a very interesting doll to have. Another Superstar, fun project doll for somebody, that crimped hair especially. A sweeter Superstar. Some Superstars I can look at and recognize who they are immediately, some I cannot. A Fluffy Courtney. With a sticker on her leg. A Maxie. Wearing Barbie and, hold on, wearing Barbie and off-brand clothes. I know this isn't homemade dress because it is sewn with clear monofilament thread, which is something that, yeah, lucky Fashion Corners. A lot of companies did that around the late 80s or the 90s, and Fashion Corners did it a lot. So yeah, Hasbro Maxie. Something that's going directly in the box for John. And then the doll that actually caught my eye in the preview photo Bailey sent. This is the Hart Family Mom. One of the versions that use the jazzy / Friend of Star sculpt. I don't think this is the original Hart family dress, but it's really nice. I know the Hart family moms had some more unusual dresses for Barbie, but it's an interesting dress with some interesting lace. So, that's the very interesting box of stuff from Bailey, thank you. Like I said, I will be eventually getting a destash list together, and a lot of these could go on it. Again, with Bailey's permission, the whole point of her sending this box to me was so I could find people who could use a whole bunch of Superstar era Barbies. But I figured there would be some in there that were of great interest to me as well. So thank you for watching. I have to reorganize things and find a place to put things until I get the destash going. And I have a lot more dressing dolls videos to share. So I may have a somewhat steady stream of long-form, rambling, babbling doll content to put on YouTube for at least a little while. And so I will keep you company while you do your doll stuff. So thanks for hanging around.